So we wanted to talk a bit about what's going to happen in the future. And I wonder if you can share with us if you can see if there's some business trends or if there's a company or something that you think we should keep our eye on.
You know, I think what's really so obvious now, and I know that many people are talking about it now also, is really how digitization is really truly entering into almost every part of the business and every part of the industry. That is just so exciting, really. I mean, we've had digital components for such a long time, but now it's really all coming together in a way that makes it possible to go in and really transform businesses in many, many ways. And it's, I just think of the opportunities for the companies that realize this and that embrace the opportunities that the digital media and the way, you know, how you can apply it, how that, you know, the new kinds of opportunities that can give these companies. Mm-hmm. The way, not just the product, of course, I mean, many products now are completely digitized, but also the way you interact with your employees or the way you interact with your customers. Every part of the whole value chain is affected in different ways by digitization. And I would say, and really I would be worried if you were a company and you didn't have somebody in charge of the strategy for digitization. I mean, I would really be worried because we see new startups coming from nowhere that are able to really disrupt businesses that we thought would just go on and on and on forever. So I think that's it's very exciting, but it's you know it calls for action as well.
Which I think is a fantastic thing, and it calls, it's very holistic view, and it actually tells a bit about what you're seeing also, I guess, from here. Is there maybe a leader that you think is interesting, maybe have started to grasp this, or is doing things in a different way that you think we should keep our eye on?
Well, I mean, I think there are many companies that have seized the opportunity to use resources in more efficient way. I mean, we talk about the shared economy, right? How can we use these things that we have manufactured more than maybe 1/10 of the day? I'm thinking of companies like Uber and others. Everything in the shared economy, I think it makes actually a lot of sense from a sustainability point of view. Why should we manufacture things that just sit in a garage or sit, you know, in somebody's office or unused, right? So that I think is really, really a positive perspective. I am aware that there are many challenges. Obviously, legislation, regulatory issues, they have to catch up ultimately. But I think fighting this kind of movement, I think, is bound to fail in the long run, because it makes perfect sense to just use things that have been manufactured in better ways. If we talk about energy and sustainability, I mean, one of my heroes, I have to say, is Elon Musk. So yeah, people might say he's a little bit crazy, but definitely he's one of the most mission-driven people that I know, and he makes people do the impossible. SpaceX. Who would have thought that a startup eventually wound up being a supplier to NASA, right? What he's done with Tesla is also amazing. I mean, it's not just the best electric car, it's like the best car. And sorry for doing advertisement like this in commercials, but I would also challenge Tesla, because the real proof, I think, of the greatness of Tesla will be when they make that $30,000 model that's more affordable to more people. What he's doing in solar now, I think, is really amazing. So Elon Musk really goes after the idea and works on it, you know, beyond the point when many people would just give up. I think there are other people, there are other amazing people, of course, also that you run into here in the Valley. I don't know where to begin to name them all, but those that are really truly visionary, that see an ultimate goal that is much, much greater than themselves, those are the ones that I really respect. And I think the important thing with those, I mean, we can all have visions. I mean, yeah, I have lots of visions too. But most of us have them, but then we don't really act on them because other things take over, or daily life. So I really admire the people who have the clear vision, but then also have the endurance, the persistence to work towards those goals, regardless of all the people saying that they're crazy, it's never going to work, they run out of money or whatever. I mean, those are the real heroes, I think.
Yes, and I think you're right, and it is very inspiring when you meet those people, and you're fortunate because you can reach more of them because of where you are. So can you tell us maybe about what do you think is the best thing about the role that you have and the work you do?
Well, what I'm really trying to achieve here is just really make it easier for let's say Swedish startups to really just use the ecosystem here in Silicon Valley as if it were a part of the Swedish ecosystem. That's really my fundamental belief, is that we should make sure that we give the Swedish startups the best possible opportunities to grow and develop. And if that means introducing them to what could be valuable people here, just lowering the thresholds to entry into this ecosystem. That's a large part of what we are trying to achieve here through the Vinnova office. Another part, which of course is important, is to keep an eye on what are the important trends and what would the policy implications be for Sweden. How can we continue to develop our own ecosystem back in when I mean ecosystem, it's a little bit of the Silicon Valley lingo, right? I mean our innovation system, everything that we have in terms of people, regulatory, etc., frame conditions that make innovations happen.
You take the ecosystem. Is there something that you see that we can get to work maybe better between maybe a bit of the larger companies and the startups? And what role do you think Silicon Valley then can play?
Yeah, I think that's one of the very clear observations that you can make. What makes the difference between Silicon Valley culture and what we see in Sweden is how the larger corporations, the larger companies really interact with the smaller companies. There's a much better awareness, I would argue, in here that the smaller companies can truly enrich the larger companies by bringing in new ideas, new ways of doing things. But it does really require a change of mindset among the management, the leadership in the companies. You have to acknowledge that there is a lot outside of your company that can help without really challenging what you're doing. I think that's, and I mean, sometimes we call it open innovation, right? I mean, this has many names, but to one thing really open up for experimentation, and this can be together with the small companies that you try the products, you put them into, test things. Don't make long, don't make it more difficult than it needs to be. I mean, don't spend a year doing studies and looking into things. Just do more of the design thinking method. Try it, go test it. Does it appeal to your customers? Yes, no, otherwise try something else. So more of an open-mindedness, I'd say. Really embrace open innovation, not just have it as a buzzword somewhere on your in your balanced scorecard. I don't know, really work with that. And there are lots of people who can help you get more into that. So I mean, don't be afraid to really take this seriously. I think, and not just will you, now I'm saying you as the companies, not just will you maybe improve the chances that you will stay on top of in your business, but you're also helping the whole undergrowth, the ecosystem, the economy as a whole, I would say. And you'd be more attractive too as an employer.
Fantastic.